Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week, where we do a deep dive into one character and give you all the info that you need to know and maybe some stuff you didn't know. As always, there are my usual partners in crime. Oh, wow. You're over here, Tim.
Am I supposed to be, or?
I don't know if you're supposed, because I'm usually in your spot. Over here is Tim the Terrible. Always Tim the Terrific, but Tim the Terrible tonight. Right below him is Dan the Man Kelly, and of course we have the Ric Flair, from the Library of Comics, Uncle Gary.
Woo!
How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Awesome. We were in the pre-show, so we're talking about everything. We're talking football. We're talking signed cards. We're talking about special appearances that were
Star
not
Wars
mentioned.
Yep. Battlestar Galactica Day.
Battlestar Galactica Day. Firefly Day.
Mm-hmm.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century?
Yes.
Ooh.
There we go.
Oh, Wilma
Yes.
Deering.
Barbarella.
Thank you
They're
very
doing
much.
doing another Battlestar Galactica remake.
Are they really?
Of course they are.
I mean, the one that they did on Sci-Fi was such a great show. It's going to be hard to press. I mean, that was one of the greatest science fiction TV shows ever. Like, right up there with
Right.
Star Trek and them, like that. So much better than what the original Battlestar Galactica was.
Yeah. All right, let's do a little introductions now, since we've got some time here. As always, I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy. You can always catch me on YouTube when I'm not here on Codex. Catch me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner, and the Slab Guy 77 on Instagram. Dan the Man. I'm not used to this corner. Dan the Man Kelly. He is a man of Instagram. I once saw him punch Elon Musk at a dollar bin sale, just to get a book, and I loved it. I wish I had videotaped it. Dan, give the info where they can find you.
Hey, Elon, you going to get that Night Thrasher #1? No.
Give that D-bag a thrashing. Be like, go run
I just
him
thought
over
that
with
joke today.
Oh, my God.
So you can check me out on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Post a few times a week. I will be posting tomorrow. Knock on wood that I actually finish it. My entry for this week for the Spawnuary cover contest. I'm working on my Gunslinger Spawn. I've got the body mostly done. I just have to do the face and the hat, and then kind of figure out what the background's going to be, and then ink it. So I'll be busy working on that tomorrow. But check it out. Give me a follow. Give me some likes. Let me know what you'd like to see.
1K for DK.
1K for DK.
The marathon continues.
I would very much like to hit 1,000 followers or subscribers. Followers, I think, is what they are on Instagram.
Yeah.
Very much like to hit that this year. So
he's all full of DK energy. So right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan not only is a road manager of the greatest comic book wrestling collector this side of the squared long box, he also is the former owner of X, formerly of Twitter, now of Twitter, also the former owner of Instagram, and he is the Pied Piper of this big D that needs to get across the finish line.
Yes.
Follow this man.
I'm getting
Help
ready
him carry that D across.
Help him carry that big D across. Don't forget he punched Elon Musk.
Love that big D.
He will play the skin flute and get you across the finish line right along with him, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm getting ready to launch a Kickstarter soon. Hopefully, I've submitted all the stuff. I'm just waiting for them to they got to do all the stuff where they like check out your bank information to make sure it's all good. So
is that a euphemism for
yeah,
I got your bank info, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you got to enter all your bank info so that when campaign's done, they like direct deposit all of it.
Right.
So they got to verify all that stuff. So in the next couple of days, when it's verified, hopefully on the show next week, I'll be like, hey, go check this out. But we'll see. But until then, this guy's sitting beside me, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. He wears the $50 cashmere jackets. He rides in limos. All the ladies are chasing him. This is the man, the myth, the legend, the proprietor of the Library of Comics, Uncle Gary.
Thank you. Thank you. That is why you are my road manager, because you embellish the truth with as many falsehoods as we can pack in there. And that's all right. Because, the biggest falsehood is ain't no more chasing women, because
No, they're chasing you.
Shot. But
Oh my God.
that was the old days. So thank you for that, DK. 1K for DK. Get that man over that threshold. We will, and if we all have to help him carry that big DK over the threshold, we'll do it. All right. You can catch me at Comic Logic every single Wednesday, getting my weekly fix. Comic Logic, we're going to get right here. We get those 4-color ink. We put it right in the veins. I'm a proud owner of Comic Logic, one of the owners, and I get my books there every Wednesday, and we pump that ink in. And man, I've told you before, reading comic books makes you strong. Makes you strong because you're picking that book up. You're turning those pages. Then the next thing you know, you got a stack. Then the next thing you know, that stack you got to put in a short box. Then you have so many books in that short box, you need a long box. And then you're picking up that long box, and then you got another long box, and you're stacking books, and you're stacking them here. You're stacking them there. Next thing you know, you are ripped, baby. Do some push-ups. But anyway, I digress.
Do some push-ups.
Comic books make you strong of mind, strong of bicep, baby. Read some comics. So we would love to see you. And we are all bound by glue, stuck like glue together because of our good friend Archduke Kevy that created the Comic Character of the Day site. That is a site where we all contribute to. Under the Facebook name Opie Taylor, I post the cover of the day. DK, that's right there, booking my next gig. So he's taking care of that business. You can't see him right now. He posts a random panel of the day, a question of the day. Sal is a frequent contributor on that site, and Tim's always vigilant. He's always watching, making sure that we are living up to the standards the Codex station would expect of the site that brought us all together, Comic Character of the Day.
That's right.
Now we kick it back up. Is it time to introduce Tim? Are we introducing Tim, or do I introduce Sal now?
No, you introduce Tim. I already did my introduction.
Tim. All right, Tim. All right. So here we're doing a little angle. So I have to go at this angle now. That voice that you hear that cuts through the air with that sweet and yet savory sound that draws you toward it. He is a combination of Edward R. Morrow and Wolfman Jack, and he brings you in when you hear that voice, because when you know that man is talking, you know that there is entertainment and information that is about to unfold and be placed in front of you. That is the voice of reason. That is the voice of entertainment. That is why he is on this panel, because of those golden pipes, the one, the only, the Tim, the Terrible. Bam.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you need a cigarette after that extensive introduction. Go ahead, catch your breath, because the golden tongue of Tim the Terrible is going to take you the rest of the way home. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love us as much as we love ourselves, go find us on all the socials. All you got to do is type in @the Codex Station. That is where we will be. Make sure to hit that like button. Do us a favor and give us a subscribe. Why don't you give us a follow anywhere on your favorite social media platforms?
Ooh.
Oh, and by the way, where we're live streaming right now, all you got to do is type in @the Codex Station. Oh, but there's more. While I'm tickling your toes and Uncle Gary is rubbing your shoulders, Sal created some visual stimulation for your eyeballs. Head over to thecodexstation.com, ladies and gentlemen, for all your Codex needs. Go over there to get some merch, meet the team, and so much more. Thecodexstation.com.
Are you sure this isn't an After Dark show? This is
I'm getting that After Dark vibe here.
Well,
Man,
the devil is in the details, ladies and gentlemen.
the Tingler.
But you forgot to mention one thing.
Oh, what would that be? How
we are on all the socials, and we want to give them to you.
That's right.
That's not my line. I can't take away the finisher.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary. That's what from you.
Codex, we just want you to know, we have all the socials, and we want to give them to you all day long.
I'm sorry, Gary. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, that's okay. It needed to be said. I just didn't want to interject because Tim was on a roll. What, when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Don't stop him. He's on a roll.
Don't stop. He's on a roll.
Is there a sign that says slippery when wet in here?
No,
Because I need to put on my rain boots.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my God.
You mean your galoshes?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 9:25 on the East Coast. It is 6:25 on the West Coast. And
right,
somewhere in between.
This is a lot of horny for a Thursday night show.
Yes, it is.
Sorry about that. I just realized I was like, I forgot to pull out my Mephisto covers to put on the deck.
Don't apologize. We just totally tantalized our audience. And
listen,
while everybody was looking at your butt.
Let me tell you something. This is a risque show anyway because we're doing Mephisto, and I thought that character sounds like something you get at a swanky high-end S&M club. So
don't go in there, Gary. I got the Mephisto.
Some of his imagery is actually very.
You got to pay extra for the Mephisto.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yes. It's available 3 nights a week in Vegas,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it is.
Here, I'll show you. I'll give you a preview, or not really a preview, but a book that almost made my recommended reading, but didn't. But an outside the box one.
Oh,
what if?
Yeah,
that's nice. I like that.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. So we're going to start the show in just a few minutes. We got 9:26. How about we shoot for a 9:30 start time?
Sounds good to me.
And we get the show rolling at 9:30.
All right.
So, Uncle Gary, you had your Grumpy Old Nerds show today. How'd that go?
Yep. Grumpy Old Nerds show went well. You can we'll have one next Thursday. First 3 Thursdays every month at Comic Logic. We do our Comic Logic Presents and Ye Grumpy Old Nerds. We do the second and third Thursday. Thank you for bringing that up. Wearing my Grumpy shirt, my Grumpy shirt that Rob got us, our owner. So it went pretty well. Sal, thank you for contributing on that show. Can't wait to have you in there live or
I can't wait. I'll do it.
Zoomed in. You just let us know.
You had a great topic tonight, too. You had a great topic tonight.
Great topic. Rob came up with 5 heroes that you really don't trust. So if you fellas want to take a crack at that you don't trust.
Heroes now, not anti-heroes, not villains. Straight up heroes.
Slapstick. I would not.
When you say trust, like just trust in general, or anything
like Superman trust.
Okay, I was
that you would not trust, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trust Wolverine to hang out with my redheaded girlfriend if it,
Very good point.
What character was that with the redheaded girlfriend?
Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him.
I wouldn't. Shit, no.
I wouldn't trust.
Well, I'll tell you somebody on everybody's list. John Constantine.
Oh yeah.
Can't trust him for jack, right?
No.
Nope.
Can't trust Constantine, and also the mentally ill didn't do well in this. Sentry was on all of our lists. You can't trust the Sentry because he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Moon Knight also was an honorable mention.
What'd you say?
Moon Knight was also an honorable mention.
Moon Knight was mentioned.
Yeah, okay.
Sal had some great ones there. One of my mentions is can't trust Batman.
Yeah, not after what just happened.
That's true.
With Batman in the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's got imperatives on how to take down all of his Justice League teammates. So if you think, okay, well, there needs to be somebody that can do that, just in case we do go rogue, that's great. But you couldn't trust him to have him in a secure bat cave because Talia al Ghul got in there and stole the protocols. So maybe you can't trust Batman's security system. So it's just Batman leaves a lot to be trusted if you're his teammate. So he was on the list.
I'm gonna say Iron Man.
Yep.
Rob had Iron Man. Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
well, because you never know if he's gonna be drunk. He's done some kind of dickish stuff before, like the whole hero registration thing. I'll say too. as much as I like the character, I don't know that you can really trust U.S. Agent.
What about Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah,
I trust him. I think.
I
You
trust
think
the,
so?
I trust the 616
Mr.
Fantastic. I don't trust the maker.
The maker. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I'm just-
here's my argument for that. So Mr. Fantastic is all logic. He's pure logic. That's how he thinks. That's how he operates. And if logic dictates that you have to go, you're out.
Oh,
Man.
well, I give you that. And sometimes he's so much on another plane, he's short-sighted and screws up because he
Yeah.
doesn't look at the reality aspect of the real world aspect of
In
how
Marvel
things-
Zombies, he determined by himself that becoming a zombie was the next step in super evolution. So he
I'll
let
give you that.
everybody die. Yeah.
I had
So
the
yeah.
Beast as one of mine too, with what they've done to him lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Current
Can't tr-
Beast.
The current Beast, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like that's going by the wayside. Thank God.
90s
Was he,
Beast, I'd trust him all day long.
Was he
Hank
an
Pym.
Avenger or was he?
He was an
X-Men?
Avenger. He was an Avenger for a long
Uh,
time.
No.
I'll say,
He was
I'll
he was a new Defender, gentlemen.
He
new
was a defender. He was a defender for like 50 issues. Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
I'll say Hank Pym too. He's got to be high up there.
He was mentioned. Yes, he was mentioned. Sal, who did you have on yours?
I
You
had Xavier. Xavier.
right,
and I said,
Xavier. was
Yeah.
great. You can't trust the dude that's dicking around in your mind all the time.
Can't trust anybody these days.
Another
some people
one.
said
I'll say,
Cyclops.
another one. I'll
Oh
say,
yeah, I
even though
mentioned Cyclops. Can't trust that. Correct.
even another one I'll say, even though I really like the character, and shameless plug, we did a comic character of the week on her not that long ago, is Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Mike had her as one of his 5. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, mental instability.
Yep.
So let's.
All
yeah.
right.
So
All right.
yeah, I think that was it. But anyway, it's a fun topic. Rob did.
Yeah.
Rob. That was a good topic that Rob brought up, and kind of inventive that I wouldn't have considered. So, that's why.
Nice.
That's why we
Very
keep
cool.
Rob around. He comes up with some good ideas.
It was a fun topic. I enjoyed being part of that conversation. It was
And
really
thanks
good.
for participating, my brother.
Yeah, no problem.
You
All
know
right,
what?
let's go ahead.
I was gonna say too, real quick. I might throw Black Panther on there too because he's done some Batman-esque stuff as well.
Mhm.
Namor was also mentioned. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh.
you never know what he's. You never know if he's gonna be a good guy or a bad guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Sal, you get to
What-
pick the countdown music today.
Oh, it's Groovy Baitstones, baby.
You want those? You
Yes,
got
I-
it. You
All
don't even
day
have
long,
to ask
baby.
me twice.
You know?
Ladies and
Come on.
gentlemen, we will be back in 30 seconds right after this groovy bass
Seconds.
tone.
Whether you like it or not.
I love
That's
that.
a cool title card.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week, where we take one character and do a deep dive into that character and give you the must-reads, the best covers, the badass moments, the whole 9 yards. And as always with me are my usual suspects, are my partners in crime. Oh,
Suspects.
suspects. It's very sus. We got Tim the Terrible. We got Dan the Man. God, I can't do this thing.
Why don't you just switch back?
Here,
then?
let me move you.
Just switch
You're
this.
there,
Thank you.
There.
Thank you. I'm going to start with Dan the Man Kelly. We've got the Ric Flair of comics.
Woo!
And of course, we've got Tim the Terrible right over here.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, who
And
are we
Sal the
covering
Slab Guy.
tonight?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy. Thank you very much. Who are we covering tonight, guys?
Mephisto.
If you saw the title card, you saw the title
Mephisto.
card. Mephisto. Mephistopheles is his full name. That's his formal name. If you ever want to send an invitation to him, Mephistopheles
Mephistopheles Esquire.
Esquire, the third. No, not the third. Anyhow, Dan, why don't you go ahead and give us all the info on this guy?
All right, so he was created by comic legends Stan Lee and John Buscema all the way back in Silver Surfer issue 3. His origin, I guess they've never really definitively said it because he's essentially the Marvel Universe version of the Devil, but he claims that he was created when the supreme being committed suicide, and out of his death created the Marvel Universe, and it created Mephisto as well as the Infinity Gems, a bunch of other demons. As far as powers go, it's kind of just whatever you want to pick. He manipulates magic. He could change his size. He could change his shape. He could project illusions. He can manipulate your memories. He can alter time, alter reality. He's resistant to injury. The super strength. He can fire, energy blast, hellfire.
He is omnipotent.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty much it with him. He's pretty much everything about the devil that you want to know that he does.
Yeah, pretty much whatever a writer wants him to do, power he wants him to do, he can do it.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Whatever they write in. Anyhow, let's go ahead before we dive in. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, which is W Energy. So head on over to WGG and check out this really good clean energy drink. There's no bad aftertaste. There's no sugar crash. It doesn't taste like absolute crap like some of the other energy drinks out there that are happening. Go over to their website at WGG, check and use the code -X and save 10% on that order. Check it out down there below. But go after this episode, ladies and gentlemen. You want to listen to this episode first, but definitely go check them out. Like I said, they're a good, clean energy drink. Have to check them out. Let's remember code -X at checkout, save 10%. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in first, and we're going to go with what scenarios work best for this character. And I'm going to pick Uncle Gary. Why don't you?
I'm not Uncle Gary.
I'm sorry.
Well, what scenarios work best for this hellspawn weasel is when he's trying to take your soul in exchange for some little trifling thing. He is the devil, and that's what devils do. Got no respect for the devil, got no love for the devil, and he
what about sympathy for the devil?
I don't. That's very good. I didn't have much sympathy for him when he went down to Georgia and he was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind. He was way behind. He was looking to make a deal. They came across this young man selling on a fiddle, playing it hot. Devil jumped up on a hip step, said, "Boy, let me tell you what." So, I didn't have much sympathy.
The version from Baltimore when the devil went down to Dundalk.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Well, now in the devil went down to Georgia. Tim and Dan, y'all are musicians. I love that song. I've seen Charlie Daniels play that song in person. It's pretty awesome. I gotta say, I thought the devil was better. I thought the devil's version was cooler. Am I wrong? I mean, Johnny.
It's rock and roll. Come on now.
Yeah, Johnny was
As a side note, I love
devil,
that. What was it, a Geico commercial years ago? The one where they had Charlie Daniels in the restaurant and he took the fiddle from the violinist and he's doing all that and he's like, "That's how you play that, son."
Yeah, I think I remember that.
That's good. That's classic.
Good stuff. But yeah, so he's he does what devils do, and that's what you want, somebody that's duplicitous and a lion snake, and he'll do anything for your soul. And that's where he works best, when he's in his own netherworld and he's just trying to barter with the coin of the realm, which is souls.
Very good. How about you, Tim? What do you think works best for him?
Gary, I mean, I agree 100%. Mephisto works best when he is causing all kinds of trouble. When he is putting a giant stick in the bicycle wheel that is the Marvel Universe.
Yep.
When he gets immense joy and satisfaction out of doing that, even if he loses, he still wins because he gets what he wants.
Right.
And that's where he works best, when he takes things that don't belong to him and he tricks people into giving away the things that are the most important. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Dan, how about you? I'll go last here.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty much going to agree with them, but I'll say it specifically when he's trying to corrupt what he thinks of as an incorruptible soul,
Mhm.
which I'm sure it will be mentioned in many
Yep.
of our recommended readings, because that
Yep.
was kind of what he did in his first appearance, was, trying to corrupt the Silver Surfer, who he looked at as a pure soul. He's done
Right.
it with Daredevil too. He's done it with other characters, so. Yeah, not just making the deal with the devil, but doing it with the ones where he thinks it's
Mhm.
not possible to do. Ends up
Mhm.
coming up with some real good stories on that. But
Yeah,
what about
definitely.
you, Sam?
So I once again I agree with all three of you. You guys hit the nail right on the head for that. But I also like him when he's because he's a master of manipulation. He'll
Mhm.
manipulate anybody to get his way, and he's the fork tongue expression is not lost on him. He is the master manipulator, and I always like it when he's getting the last laugh, because even when he loses, something else is going on, or it's some other plan scheme is coming up, and this whatever this was that he lost to still works for him in his favor. And at that last panel, you can always see him going, at that time, even though he's lost, he still wins, and that's what I like best.
When he's written very well, that is the outcome, that
Right.
even though he loses, he still wins.
Yep, because things are
Yeah.
still going the way
Yeah.
he wants them to go.
Yeah.
And also what Dan said, to echo what Dan said, he's always trying to corrupt the most purest soul, and it's a moth to a flame. He cannot resist it.
Yeah.
He has to do that, and that's what really works best for him. All right, so on to our next segment, we got our let's see what works best, and then we got our three badass moments. So let's go ahead and kick this off. Let's go with Dan. What's your three badass moments?
Oh, Dan, you're muted, buddy.
Did you go on mute?
Mephisto did that to him.
Mephisto did it.
I don't know that there's a specific issue number tied to it. It was one of those ones where they kind of retconned it later, but how he essentially was the one that created Ghost Rider. He was the one that Johnny Blaze sold his soul to. So that was badass that he's like, that he created such an iconic character.
Right.
Another one I have is from the Mephisto Versus miniseries, where each one of the 4 issues was a different team going against for Marvel at the time. And this back in the 80s. And the way the series ended up, it's actually exactly what Sal just mentioned. The way it ends up, you think like, oh, well, he lost, he didn't win. And then he's sitting there at the very end of it and kind of doing his monologue where he's, in hell, like talking to himself, I guess, comic book.
Yeah.
But he's doing his supervillain monologue, and he reveals, he's like, oh, I got exactly what I wanted out of this. Like, it seems like I lost, but I got what I wanted because I got this. And later on, Hela, who got involved with this thing with Thor, Hela, when she tries to take his soul later on when he dies, it's going to be this whole mess. And I'm just going to sit back and laugh, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So the essential part of it for this whole miniseries that he went through, and all this manipulating of different characters and trading one soul for another, was also that sometime in the future, he could sit back and be amused at something that happens to someone else.
Yep.
And I mean, if that's not devilish, I don't know.
Yep.
Then the last one I have is one that I absolutely hate.
I know what it is.
The worst moments in the history of comics. One of the most poorly thought out moments, but it is badass for the character, is when he took Spider-Man and Mary Jane's marriage.
Yep.
Again, it's one of the worst storylines ever. I just have to list it there because it ended such an iconic relationship in comics. And here we are,
15 years later.
15 years
And
later.
he's still laughing about it.
15 years later, and though they've hinted and teased that they're going to put Spidey and Mary Jane back together, they haven't. They haven't done it all yet. They're still apart. They're still doing stupid things and playing around. So I have to listen at that just because it's something that 15 years later is lasting. So, even though it was terrible, and to me, that will forever taint Joe Quesada's comic legacy. Yep. And if I ever get to see him in person, I'll be like, hey, why'd you screw up Spider-Man?
You're going to give him a Mephisto?
He's gonna punch him in the face like he did Elon.
I'll get Quesada to sign. I got it here. The last issue of Amazing Spider-Man I bought for 14 years. I'll get him to sign this, and I'll have him write on there. I'm sorry, Joe Quesada.
Thanks for the memories, Joe.
Yeah,
Joe. Yep.
I'm worse than Zeb Wells, Joe Quesada.
No one's worse than Zeb Wells. Zeb Wells is amazing. Don't bash Zeb Wells.
But think about
president of the fan club of Beyond.
If they hadn't done that with Spidey, if they hadn't had Mephisto take his marriage, what would Zeb Wells be writing now? Like Spidey and Mary Jane would still be together. So
no, they wouldn't. He did screwed it up somehow.
He would have done something. All right, Uncle Gary, how about you? Let's hear your badass moments.
All right, so it's pretty much just parroting what Dan said, because I think the coolest thing he did was when Ghost Rider was created. Didn't he trick the demon Zarthos in creating Ghost Rider?
Mm-hmm.
So he tricked another demon into creating Ghost Rider, who was a pain in the ass to all the other demons. So I thought, so that was pretty good. I'm like him too at Versus. He got a lot of entertainment out of putting it was the X-Men, X Factor, Avengers, and Fantastic Four through the ringer, and it was just done for his amusement. Even though he knew he wasn't really going to win this, but or get what he get any souls out of it. He was just doing it to screw with him, and he still got his rocks off. So I guess that's bad. I mean, I have a hard time describing this as badass. This is just ass stuff. He's just an asshole. So it's not badass, it's asshole stuff. And then the other thing is the One More Day storyline. Mm-hmm. So I guess the only thing that's maybe even slightly redeeming is his motivation. And maybe this was retconned and not done at the time. I've lost track. But Peter and Mary Jane's offspring was supposed to end a Mephisto somewhere in one of the universes. Was that retconned into this whole thing, or was that part of the initial story that the Peter and Mary Jane's offspring was going to do him harm in the future?
I think that was in the original one, because it was they were supposed to have a daughter in the future, which would then become his big antagonist.
Right. So I couldn't remember if that was retconned or not, but that motivation. Okay, I guess that's I guess that idea of that motivation, is kind of badass, that that's why you're gonna keep them apart, is so that child will never come to be. So I guess, but that's
an interesting way to look at it. I've never thought of that before.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway,
very good.
Like I say, with him, I can't really say badass, just ass.
Well, yeah.
Ass.
We'll change this segment to ass moments. Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah,
you're next.
The one I had from really the only series to actually bear his name, that Versus series, it turned out at the end he just did it all for his own amusement to screw with someone else.
Yeah. My ass moments. So I'll talk about One More Day in a second, because I know we're going to get into this even further later in the episode. But one moment that sticks out particularly well for me is in Infinity Gauntlet. See, he's right there. There he is. And it's this part where, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Where Thanos is sitting on the throne and he's trying to talk to Death and convince Death that he loves her and that all he wants is to make her happy. And she is giving him the ice cold shoulder.
Well,
And
that's what that does.
that's right. But Thanos stands up and he goes, I know what you want. And he walks, and Mephisto's like, he's going to do it. He's really going to do it. I remember that as clear as day. And as Thanos is walking up and getting ready to snap, Mephisto, the trickster, the devil, the manipulator of manipulators, cannot believe that this is about to happen. Like he wouldn't have even taken it this far. And just the moment where Mephisto was a little bit humbled stands out to me. But was that what you were thinking of, Gary?
Yeah. Right, because he had
I'm gonna
he was
find that
weaseling
panel.
up and toadying up to Thanos the whole
Oh
time.
yeah, right here. Yeah. The great Thanos, how may I serve you? I am your humble patronage, etc., etc. And he was in his ear the whole time, right there.
Yeah, and he kept doing it because he was
Yeah.
thinking that he was going to get the find a way to get the gauntlet, and then when he
Yeah.
went for it, it didn't quite work out real well for him.
No, it didn't.
Yeah. And again, to one more day, that is probably the most destructive I have seen him used as a character in the story. Because if you don't know, I mean, go read it. You'll hate it as much as we all did. But Aunt May is on the verge of death, right? Finally. But the writers see fit that doesn't need to happen, and instead they use Mephisto. And in the Nether Realms, Peter and Mary Jane are there, and they're begging for Aunt May's life, and he's like, I'll give it to you in exchange for something of yours. And Peter says, what? Anything. Your marriage. What? Why would you want that? Oh, why wouldn't I? I want this purest thing, this thing that you love above all else, including yourselves, the joy, the laughter, the emotion, the romance, the lust, all of it. I want it all, and it will never have existed. You two will never have been together, and it will be horrible for both of you, and I will love it. And what'd Peter do? Yeah, okay, here you go.
I thought it was Mary Jane that actually said agreed to it.
Probably, but I think he turned around and he was like, "You got it, Mephisto. You can have it. That's fine as long as Aunt May lives forever."
It would have been Aunt May. You had a good run. Uncle Ben's waiting for you.
Time to turn the stove off and put the dishes on the dish rack.
I'll be making my own wheat cakes from now on, Aunt May.
It's right.
Okay.
Aunt May was like 1,000 years old when she first appeared.
Aunt May,
her time.
Aunt May is immortal now because of that event right there. One more day plus infinity. So yeah, one more day.
Didn't she become the Herald of Galactus too?
But yeah, those are my ass moments for Mephisto.
I love this. It's ass moments. I agree.
All right. So,
nice rebranding.
Two of my ass moments have been taken, but I want to add one more thing to the one more day situation, and that's as the clock is ticking down. This is what I mean about Mephisto and his master manipulation. You know, he was like, he goes, what does he say exactly? He's like, you don't need to. He goes like, you don't need to. He starts off with this because you don't need to. All you need to understand is that your aunt will live. And then you hear a clock go off in the background. He goes, did you hear that? That's the sound of your aunt dying. You know, time is nearly up. You know, so that even though the story sucks, and I completely agree with what you.
That is cool. The
way he laid that out is the master manipulator, and that's just the badass moment. The other one was the Mephisto versus the
ass moment sound.
I'm sorry, ass moments. So the other one was the Mephisto versus all the teams, and yeah, I'm not going to go into deep on that because you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head for me on that one. It was just all for his amusement, 100%.
4 issues, all for him, all for his giggles.
All for his giggles. So now I have this other one, which you guys didn't mention, and it's actually pretty much a jab at 2. This is Daredevil number 266, and he's holding up Daredevil by his neck, and he's like, "You thought you could punch away Mephisto?" He goes, "A true Christian, a true Mary Christian, would just turn the other cheek and then just starts laughing at him.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like I'm like, okay, all right, that's pretty.
I like
badass
that.
there. Yeah, you know, that shows off his ass moment a little bit more.
Yes.
All right, so those are our most badass moments. But
I
now
like
we're
that.
gonna. What's that?
Yeah,
You
I
like
like
that one?
that. I like that Daredevil one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, the imagery on that one was pretty good because he's got him
Yeah.
like held up like this, and
Oh,
Daredevil's
yeah.
just like completely limp type of thing.
And that's
You know?
where Ramita Jr. kind of did a redesign on him too.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's right. All right, for our next statement, we're going to jump into critiques and criticisms, and this is what we don't like about the character. And I'm going to go first on this one. And it's a really short list, and I think it's probably echoed by you guys as well. Is he's anything the writers want him to be? He's,
Yeah.
you know, they need they got an oh shit moment. I gotta figure something out there. Okay, we'll throw in Mephisto and we'll have him do this. You know, and just chalk it up to him being an asshole. You know,
No.
and, you know, there's no. I really don't see too much of an end game from him. So, but if he did corrupt those souls that he was trying to get, what's the advantage? What's the end game? What is he going to do with them? You don't know. He's just always trying to get them. I just got to do it. I got to do it. But there's no. I don't see the actual end game that he would ever have. Like, does he take over the earth? Does he destroy heaven? What does he do? Don't know. Don't know.
Yeah.
So that's what I have for that. Dan, how about you? What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he never really wins.
Right.
You know, even every other villain at some point can most of them could point to some time where they won. You know, with him, it's just like, yeah, I didn't win, but I was really doing this. And, you know, I think the times where he really doesn't work is where they give him a motivation that's very straightforward and one-dimensional, like where it seems like he's going for this and trying to do this, and at the end it's like, oh, okay, that was exactly it. It's better, you know, when it's okay, you think he's doing this, he's trying to get this, and at the end we beat him, and then he's kind of there like, yeah, but I wasn't really doing that, I was doing this. And, you know, because that's what the devil is. The devil is a trickster, so you never really know what he's doing. So I think it's just like, so when they make his motivations very simplistic, because that's not who the character is.
Right.
Yeah, and as far as getting, you know, the corrupting the souls, I think that's just, you know, it goes along with him being the Marvel version of the devil. Like, that's, you know, I mean, that's what the devil does. Like, the devil just tries to collect souls.
Yeah, that's what I assume. But, you know, not to jump universes in there, but the Spawn universe, they were collecting souls.
Malbosia.
Yeah, they were waging the war on heaven, so they were trying to collect as many souls as they could.
Yeah.
So I could see the end point or see the end game. Oh, that's what they're trying to do with that. But I don't know. Just collecting souls. What are you collecting Pokemon
Right.
cards?
Yeah.
You know?
You got to catch them all, Sal. You got to catch them all.
Got to catch them all. The purest ones are the hard ones to get. You know.
Maybe
Jerry,
that's why, because of it. You know, he likes the challenge of it. Like, you know, he could go out there and be like, yeah, I'm going to collect a murderer and a rapist and a thief and this, you know, but it's hard to collect, you know, a pure soul.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the challenge of corrupting.
What do you got, Gary?
Well, you know, I think too, he's just defeated too easily. And, you know, some of his, you know, his motivations are just so petty. And, you know, even the grand ones, I mean, you know, Infinity Gauntlet, he doesn't get what he wants. You know, most of these souls he tries to corrupt, he can't. And yet what's interesting is about the only time he's ever really won is the story we all despise.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So the one story we hate is I think unequivocally is the time he won the most, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you know, maybe you count the getting Zarthos to create Ghost Rider a win, but he's got a terrible batting average. He'd be under the Mendoza line, if you know what that means.
Baseball. Way underneath there.
Yeah, he's way underneath the Mendoza line. That was a light-hitting infielder that they used to say where he hit was that's the Mendoza line. That.
He'd be Chris Davis at the end of his career.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, he's just a big loser on that. But paradoxically, we don't really want the devil to win, right?
Right.
So I mean, you've got to be really creative to make this character really multifaceted. In my recommended reading, I have a case where they did that, where they kind of turned it around a little bit on this character. But, none of us want the devil to win.
Mhm.
So I think the writers are hamstrung with that. And he's, to write the story, he's always going to be, brought down a peg.
Yeah.
I know with the Blackheart stuff, he was killed, but he still does come back and things. Yep. So, yep. Good stuff.
Nice.
So I guess it's that he's a, got the big L on him, or is it this way? Loser.
He's got
But-
the big M.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
There.
But again, we don't want him to win because when
Right.
he wins, we hate it. So I
Yeah.
just think, like I said, isn't that kind of interesting though? That the time where he unequivocally wins, we all hate that story.
Yep.
So that's it for me.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, Tim. How about you?
So to expand on what you three fine gentlemen have said, when he is one-dimensional, when he has a narrow field of vision as far as his objective, it's not that good. I mean, it's very difficult to take this character and really cut loose with him and have zero boundaries, because the Mephisto that could be in the Marvel universe could be incredibly destructive, and they could do an entire year event on Mephisto really lighten the fire under the 616 universe, and they have never done that. And I've always been curious as to why. They bring in King in Black, they have the Avengers versus the X-Men versus the Eternals, they have Civil War, they have all of this. Is he underneath it all manipulating? We don't know because they don't tell us. But I've always wanted to see them do that, and they've never done that. They always keep him petty. They always keep him as the trickster. They always keep him going through. Yeah, they always keep him going through all of these things to get these tiny, inconsequential bits, at least to us in most cases, but in others, with one more day, something that could be considered so small is incredibly major to all of us. And that was the one time where he was used properly and we hate it. But that's how I feel.
Real quick, it's interesting. He does, most of his motivations seem so petty. I mean, even didn't Nightmare kick him out of his realm? Even
Yeah.
at one point?
Yeah.
I think Nightmare even whooped his ass. But I always found the devil they used in the Hellblazer books, right,
Mhm.
much more menacing,
Yes.
much more frightening, right? Even though Constantine tricked him, but there were repercussions, like in Dangerous
Mhm.
Habits, where he healed Constantine, but he made it as painful as possible.
Yeah.
But that devil, to me, I'd rather face the Mephisto that is full of trickery and deceit
No.
than that devil that Constantine dealt with, that's full of bile and venom and rage and anger and hate. So it's just,
Marvel's devil, the Mephisto, is a supervillain. DC's devil is an omnipotent, pure evil force, and that's a major difference between
Yep.
the two.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
The Marvel one is a supervillain. You're absolutely
Yep.
right. Yep.
Yep. So, Tim, something you said there I think was very interesting. Like all the storylines that have been going on, like you said, the Civil Wars, the
Yeah.
A versus X versus E. Could he be underneath there manipulating it? Maybe. But
Yeah.
what they could have done is during all those series, it's like put like a little clip or a little panel of him down below going like this.
Oh.
Like that, or something
That's
like that,
amazing.
and then you could be like, "Oh, wait a minute," and start piecing together. Is he causing all
Yeah.
this ruckus? That would be awesome. So listen up,
Yeah.
writers at Marvel, do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when they did that last Heroes Reborn, it was revealed at the end of that, like, oh, he's behind it all.
Right,
Yeah.
right. All right, so let's jump over to our next segment, which is top covers. So these are 3 covers that we've all picked that we've really like.
Wes says
there's Wes.
hello.
Hey,
There we
Wes.
go. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? What's up, my brother?
So these are all 3 covers that we've picked, and we think they're like best representing the character. So why don't Dan go first on this one?
I am excited to get into these.
Go around the horn on that.
All right, so on the end, I've got the one from his very first appearance, Silver Surfer issue 3. I mean, it's just, it's so menacing, and you got the demons around there, and the Surfer flying right at him because he was primarily a Silver Surfer foe when he was first introduced. And he's holding the Surfer's big love interest, Shala Ball. He's holding her in his grasp there, and got that devilish, menacing look on his face. The middle one, I've got the Alex Ross Timeless variant of him.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch issue 3.
Awesome cover.
It's just it's just a gorgeous cover. The detail that he gets on his face and that look that he's got, it's just great. And if you look at it, like the way he has, not the whole body, but the way he has his face posed is very similar to the way it is in Silver Surfer 3.
Yep.
And then the one on the end I got is from the series that we've all been talking about, the Mephisto versus, and the first issue of it was him versus the Fantastic Four. I just love how you see him there, and he's in hell, and got like the whole Fantastic Four, at his feet, suffering, and that looks like the things like kind of melting into the rocks and stuff, and just a great devilish cover looking for him.
Yep.
All right, cool. Uncle Gary, why don't you go next with that?
All right.
Ooh.
Well, we're going to have a repeat here. We're going to have the repeat of the very first appearance by the great John Buscema.
I knew that classic cover was going to show up a lot, though.
Yep. So the classic cover is there.
Yeah.
As a departure, I did New Mutants 37, which I really liked. Chris Ank did the cover, and it was just I'll talk about that story later, that I enjoyed that story quite a bit. But there we have a charming devil about to give Magma a nice red hot kiss on her red hot skin. So there we go. And then the last one, I did that for you, Tim, because it's Bagley art. So
right on.
So I recognize that.
Yep, that's from the trading card set that they used as a cover, and I knew that the
Annie's labeled as a super villain.
Yes, she is. Very, very, very right on. I knew that the Ross one was going to get used, and I do believe that is superior, but I wanted to give a little bit of variety since I figured that would be used, and that Bagley one is, pretty much the same kind of pose. By him, the same maniacal eyes, and I think it's a great image of Mephisto from Mr. Bagley. So,
that absolutely is, Where Alex Ross does very good portrait paintings, right, and gets human anatomy very, very well in all of the work that he does. Bagley, I mean, he is on the level of top comic artists, and the work right there is a prime example of that. That's why.
And look, he's making the little heart sign with his hands. He's getting ready to make the little heart sign.
Exactly. Yes, flaming hot skin.
Good. There's Sonny. How you doing, Sonny? Good to see you.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Sonny?
Yeah.
All right. That's it for me.
All right, then I will go next. Then with mine. Oh, look at that. There's there's a smaller color. But I chose 2 different ones. But I'll start with of course, the Mephisto versus, because I like that series. I like him. Check out. He's just wearing a loincloth. He doesn't care. No F's given there. He's just like,
He had to put pants on for guests.
Yeah, he did. So that middle cover, that is Paradise X number 8.
Ooh.
And I don't know who the artist is. I want to say this was
Alex Ross.
Ross, that's Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like
you can see the signature at the bottom there. The bottom right.
Ross.
Yep, that's Ross. 100%.
There we go, right there. Very good. So, that's just I love the effect with the person inside the mouth, like he's swallowing, a soul type of situation.
Sonny says he'll see us on Saturday.
Looking forward to
Saturday, buddy. Looking forward to it.
I'm not surprised he swallowed.
swallowing a soul, baby. So for my last one, I got the Super Team Family one with the Demon and Mephisto, and this
That's
is like
so
I guess a
cool.
crossover. But look at it, he's got the Etrigan in chains, like a dog chain tied up there, and he's like got them all. He's like the elegant Etrigan chained and broken, still very silent before me, you know. And,
what a
and,
trickster,
of course,
Sal! What a trickster!
Yeah, I know, but it's lovely.
The guy that does the Super Team Family stuff, and he melds images from the different covers. It's very clever. And Super Team Family is a book that DC published in the 70s.
Yep.
I have seen several that guy has done. I don't know his name, so I can't give the credit. But
right.
I don't know.
Some of them are very convincing.
He did an Avengers one where he swapped out from one of the first issues of Avengers where he swapped out the villain for Batman, and it definitely looked like it could have been a real cover.
So the demon on there is Kirby. I'm not sure who drew the Mephisto on that cover what it's from.
That's Buscema.
I think I'll say that's Buscema. I think.
Okay.
I think that's from his first appearance, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Great
stuff. So I just love that cover because I love the way he's sitting in his throne. He's got his hands folded, crossed over. You know, if there was a badass moment, this would be one of his badass moments.
That one I would have bought. Yeah.
Instead of just an ass moment, you know.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, what do you got?
All right. So, as always, the classic first appearance there Silver Surfer number 3. And then over all the way on the right, guys, Mephisto versus. We've been talking about it all night, like all three of you have said so far. And there's
loincloth, baby.
That's right. I had to put pants on. Guess we're coming. Sue Storm was coming over. I had to put pants on. Or Ben Grimm would have been really grim. But anyways, Dan showed this cover in the center, and I knew, Gary, like you said, the Alex Ross cover was going to be shown, but I wanted this Joe Quesada cover to be shown as well. And that is the end all, the last issue, the variant cover, I believe, for the One More Day storyline. And it's perfect in its plainness, because that's all you need right there to know what you're about to get into. And that cover speaks volumes. Right.
Yeah. All right. So, but speaking about to get into things, Tim, why don't you tell us about this episode's sponsor and get into that?
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and give a big thanks to Nirvana Comics in Knoxville, Tennessee, where Uncle Gary is a co-owner of Comic Logic in Ashburn, Virginia. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. And that's his exclusive comic store. Nirvana Comics is my exclusive in Knoxville. That's where I go every weekend to pick up my books. And you should too. You can head over to nirvanacomicsknoxville.com if you're out of state, or if you just can't get out of your comfy chair on a Saturday afternoon. Also, you can head right on over to Nirvana Comics location on Kingston Pike in Knoxville, Tennessee. Go meet Grant, go meet Jasmine, and the rest of the Nirvana team. They are more than happy to help you out, and it is one of the most warm and welcoming places that you could go to for a comic shop in Tennessee. And they have a comic for everybody. So definitely go ahead and take a peek at them. But also, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to let you know that they were gracious enough. Yeah, there's a lot more. They were gracious enough to give us a store exclusive. And Sal, if you're okay with it, I'm going to go front and center so I can show everybody.
Do it.
All right. Guys, check this out. Duke number 1. The series just came out. If you haven't read it, go read it. Or better yet, you can win this. And that's really easy to do. Oh, let me tell you, Dan. Let me tell you. But
it's
you
so
can't
easy.
win it because you work for Codex. But yeah, it's very easy. All you got to do is make sure you're subscribed right here to the Codex station.
Yep.
Do that. That's first thing that you need to do. If you've watched more than once, it's easy. Just hit that button. Half of the problem is already over. The second thing you need to do is go over to Facebook. Go to Nirvana Comics on Facebook. You can find, I had a sticker around here somewhere and it's gone. You know why? Because I used it and it's stuck on my bass amp. But either way, go to Nirvana Comics on Facebook. Make sure you follow them. Take a screenshot of that. then head back over to Codex on any of our posts, share that screenshot, type in "I'm in," and you're entered in to win. Real simple. Gary just did it. There's no excuse now. No excuse. You guys can do this. And if you want to win this awesome numbered 95 out of 250 cover, you need to do that too, ladies and
There's only 248 others of those. I know where there's one they can't get that somebody in this panel has, and then there's the one to give away. So there's only a few more out there.
That's right.
Easy as 1, 2, 3. You might say shockingly easy.
Oh.
And there is a deadline, though, ladies and gentlemen. You have until
Uh-oh.
the 22nd, so that is 11 days from now. And then we're going to do the drawing, and whoever is the lucky winner is the lucky winner. So you still got some time, but time is... Oh, wait a minute. Did you hear that? That's the sound of time running out.
Time running out. Very good. I saw what you did there.
And I'm sorry, we will not be accepting any deals from Mephisto.
Negative.
That will not be happening. That will not be accepted.
No.
One thing I wanted to say, I wanted to show too. I had my top 3 covers, but there was the number 4 that was really close. And when I was talking to Sal before, he said this one was really close for him too. So it was this one.
Yeah.
The Silver Surfer 45. This was so close to being one of my covers because it's I like the way that it's done, where Thanos is standing there like very stoic, and then you just see Mephisto on the side there, like, just what you would picture the devil doing. Just
that's the lead into this.
Yeah.
Just on his just like on his shoulder, just kind of whispering in his ear.
Yep, exactly.
Doing some manipulation, baby.
Yeah.
And there was one other cover that's pretty fantastic too, which I will bring up in my recommended reading.
All right, very good. Speaking of recommended readings,
Segue.
we all have them. So
Let's
Uncle
do
Gary,
it.
kick us off and show us your recommended readings.
Well, my recommended readings are, let's go back to the original, baby. Silver Surfer, number 3, volume 1, by Stan Lee and John Buscema. So that's what sets the stage, where they create their version of Mephisto. And Mephisto, and he hasn't changed much since his inception. So, so might as well get him where he began. The Mephisto Versus series that we've all talked about is a 4-issue mini, and it was the FF, X Factor, X-Men, and the Avengers, and his machinations against all 4 of those groups, and that was his mini series, his glory. And then the other one is a little offbeat tale that was New Mutants 37, volume 3. Are y'all familiar with this story?
I have not read it.
No, I have not.
So
no, I wasn't reading New Mutants when it got to volume 3.
So every now and then, after all the evil shenanigans he does, he gets sometimes where he has needs and urges, and he needs to live life as a mortal might. And so he, in exchange for helping the New Mutants, he had a request, and that was a date night with Magma. And so, he's attracted to hot, literally molten blondes. So can't fault him there. And so he had a date with her, and he was quite charming on this. It was an interesting little tale, and it was, I like stories that are a little bit off the beaten path, and it was definitely off the beaten path for this character to actually be charming and a bit of a gentleman. So it was quite a surprise in that book. So little offbeat tale. I showed the cover for it, the date night cover. So New Mutants 30 is volume 3 of the New Mutants, number 37. Single issue. You buy the one issue and you get the whole story.
I love those stories.
I'm going to check that out tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, very cool. All right, Tim, let's see yours.
All right. So I have Infinity Gauntlet. Even though he's not
we'll get to that in a minute.
Even though he is not a major character, right? He is a very prominent secondary character. And the things that he says and the things that he whispers and the shock and awe that he has during the course of events. Mephisto is a larger part of the whole story. It's Thanos' story, yes. And I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but I don't care. it's his story, but Mephisto is right there, right along for the ride. And if you want to see Marvel's Devil in the middle of one of the greatest 6-issue events to ever take place inside a comic book, he's there, and you can see him be a part of that. Down at the bottom, Daredevil number 266, A Beer with the Devil. That's a one issue. That's a single issue story. And Sal, you talked about that in wonderful detail earlier. And this is the issue where Daredevil is being held up by Mephisto, where he says a married Christian would have turned the other cheek. The things that are going on inside of the bar, and I know this is on other people's lists too, so I won't take over all of the information. I'll let you guys talk about it too. But the things that are going on inside the bar didn't start really heating up until Mephisto walked in. And that was just so, like, I was captivated because I was sitting there like some of the other patrons in the bar, like, hey, this is going on. Daredevil, why aren't you doing anything? He was captivated and enthralled and manipulated by Mephisto, and I'm screaming at the pages too, like, turn around, man, turn around. But it's too late, and he has to pay for that. And it's a great single issue story, really, really good. And John Romita Jr.'s artwork is great in that. And then in the center, Spider-Man One More Day, the series that we love to hate and hate to love. If you haven't read this, ladies and gentlemen, you need to. It is, as Dan said, one of the most terrible stories ever written. This story made me quit reading Spider-Man for years after this was over.
Not just quit, but rage quit.
Oh yes. After it was done, I was like, F this. I am finished. I am not reading him anymore. I'm tired of it. And Mephisto was used very, very well in this story, right? With him just standing there, and Aunt May is on the verge of death, and Peter and Mary Jane are in Mephisto's realm, and he's standing there with all the poise and all the gallantry and all the I know I've got you by the soul, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you give me what I want. And if you don't, I take it anyway. I'm just giving you the illusion that you have some sort of control. And it's heartbreaking and it's horrible, and I hate this story. And it's everything that Mephisto was used very well here. And if you haven't read it in a while, or if you haven't read it at all, go read it again. That's what I'll say about that.
All right. Awesome. All right, Dan, let's see your recommended readings.
Hang on, let me find them. There we are.
No.
There you go.
Fine.
All right, so starting in the middle of Mephisto versus, there's not much more we could say about it. We've all talked about it multiple times out here. It's a cool mini series from the 80s. It's really the only time that that he's been the title character of a series. It's one thing for the storyline, but as far as a series, it's the only time he's really been the title character of it. So it's fun, fun, great 80s Marvel stuff. So check it out. Daredevil 266, A Beer with the Devil. That was already covered pretty well. I'll just say, it was great that it takes place in this bar on Christmas, and exactly, you said when Mephisto walks in disguise as a normal human woman, like everything. But it's funny because everybody just got colder. Attitudes in the bar started changing. But there was a great panel where someone gets close to him, and you just see him, like, in one panel he's normal, and then in the next panel, like, he's almost like chilled and frozen kind of thing. And it's Mephisto trying to corrupt Daredevil's soul because he looks at Daredevil as having a pure soul. So that's a good one issue read. And then the other one I have is one. It's a graphic novel called Silver Surfer Judgment Day, and it's features Mephisto pretty much doing what he did when he first appeared. He is trying to corrupt Silver Surfer's soul and get his soul because he looks at it as being as such a noble and pure soul. And I was originally going to list his first appearance in there because that's kind of what he does in that, but this one, and this is one that I would almost list as one of my top covers too. I'll send it to you guys in our chat so you can see what it looks like.
Okay.
It's drawn by John Buscema, but then painted over his drawing by Joe Jusko, and it is fantastic. And
Nice.
the reason that they did this graphic novel is written by Stan Lee and drawn by John Buscema is that John Buscema wanted to do a Silver Surfer story with nothing but splash pages. So the entire book is just full page splash pages, and the artwork is gorgeous. And he's trying to get Surfer. He can't do that, so he gets Nova. Frankie Ray, who is Galactus's herald at the time, gets her into hell, and then Surfer has to go and try and save her. Then he's claiming their souls for himself, and like I said, the artwork is beautiful. It's done by the characters' creators, and then the awesome thing is that Galactus, what Mephisto does is he manipulates Nova so that when she's finding worlds for Galactus to eat, she's finding these worlds that are like full of life, and then the Surfer finds out, and he's like, what are you doing? And then Mephisto gets them, and then so Galactus has to go down into hell to retrieve Nova, save Surfer as well, and it's then gets to be like Galactus versus Mephisto, and normally I don't want to give stuff away, but it's too awesome. I just because it'll make you want to read it. Galactus just says, "Oh, you're not going to release them?" Like, okay, I'm going to devour the underworld. I'm going to devour your world. And Mephisto was like, "What? No, you can't. You can't." And then Galactus just goes, "The hunger is upon me again." And he starts like getting ready to consume Mephisto's underworld, where he's like, "All right, fine, take him and get out, take him and go." And it's just, it's
can't I?
Yeah,
it sounds like a Galactus badass moment.
Yeah,
it's a maybe when we one day when we do Galactus on here, but it's a really cool story, and like I said, the artwork in it is just spectacular. It's just gorgeous splash page after gorgeous splash page.
Was this a Treasury edition, like one of the bigger size ones?
Yeah, it's the Marvel graphic novel. I don't remember which one it is.
Yeah, I have to look and see if I have that. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you do.
I'll send you the I'll send you guys the cover in our chat so you can in our Facebook chat so you can see it, because it's
right on.
Very cool.
So nice.
All right, so let's go ahead and check out my readings.
There we go.
And
they're coming.
Look at that! Look at that!
Mm-hmm.
Well, first one off the list, Mephisto versus. I'm not even gonna dull into that one. You guys, we've beaten this horse to death now, so I think we're good enough to say check this one out, read it, and make sure you check this out. So my next one up is Marvel Spotlight 7 through 9. This is the temptation and creation of Ghost Rider. This is where he tricks the other demon to creating Ghost Rider. So that's a must read right away. The last one I have is Silver Surfer 16 and 17. Guess what? It's another battle with the Silver Surfer, because it's his main antagonist. But this one is very well done, both with writing and art, I feel. So this is definitely something to check out.
Nice.
Very good.
All right. Awesome. So now that we've done our best readings, now we go into the next segment, which is artists and authors. This is two of the ones that we feel best represent this character. They don't have to be working on the same book at the same time, but just as long as they did something with this character. And Uncle Gary, why don't you go first on this one?
All right. Well, I'm going to say that the most memorable would probably be What Happened in One More Day, but I'm not giving that any credence. I'm not in anything. Because this character has been used by so many different creators and so many, art teams through the years. There's not one that stands out to me. So because of that, I'm just going to go with the ones that created him, and I'm going to say Stanley and John Buscema, since they set the template. And this is a character that, like I said, there's no one person that's done a long run on this character. So I will defer to those that created Stanley, John Buscema for me.
Okay.
Eternal
What's up,
Night.
Ultralights? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
All right, Dan, what do you have for best author and artist?
I had it down between 3 writers because, like Gary said, like he's not, he's as a villain, he's just a character that pops up here and there. So there's not one writer that's had like an extensive run on the character. So since he said Stan Lee, that was one of mine. The other 2 that I would say is either Al Milgrom, because he wrote the Mephisto versus series, which was really good because, like I said, you saw him trading one soul for another, and just going around Marvel antagonizing all these teams. And then the outcome where it was just for his own, for something that wasn't even for his own amusement at the time, but something that was for his own amusement would, like, for decades and decades in the future.
Right.
So for me, it would either be him or it would be Jim Starlin, the way he handled him in Silver Surfer and in Infinity Gauntlet. It would be a tie between those and Stan Lee. And then for artists, I went with Ron Lim because I really liked how he drew him in Silver Surfer and how he drew him. And even though Perez was the one that started Infinity Gauntlet, Ron Lim was the one that finished it. And because I was reading Silver Surfer at the time, like that's just kind of, I think that was my first introduction to the character. So that's just always the kind of image that I have of him in my head, is the way that Ron Lim drew him.
Nice.
All right, very nice. All right, Tim, why don't you go ahead next?
Dan, I'm going to pair you on that for artwork. Ron Lim, all the way. He does great work on Mephisto. It's easily recognizable. It's iconic. The work that he did in Silver Surfer, leading into the latter half of Infinity Gauntlet, it's fantastic. It's beautiful artwork. My writer is a little bit different, though. I love Stan Lee's work and Al Milgrom and all that. I'm going to go with Howard Mackey.
Good choice.
Yeah, the stuff that, like, Howard Mackey was writing the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider series at the time, and Mephisto came in and out from time to time on there, and he also wrote one of my favorite single issue stories, Hearts of Darkness, and Mephisto's in that, even though he's in it toward the end. But I think Howard Mackey and Ron Lim together would make an excellent pair for a wonderful Mephisto story, and I think it would be done very well.
All right.
Very see good. That.
Very good. All right. So I'm actually quite different from you guys. And for my artist, I chose Hulk 180. And for my best writer, I chose Hulk 181.
Good choices.
I had to work that joke in there.
The show is over. That punchline has been delivered. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it. Cut the camera. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to check out our After Dark for that whole 180, 181 discussion.
That's going to be the joke of the year.
That is going to be the joke of the year. Anyhow.
We'll have to add that category to the Cody's joke of the year.
Joke of the year. We should, which is happening this Saturday, by the way, folks. So go check it out. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. You'll see all of us, except for one. I think one's out. Kristen's out with a family event. So, anyhow. All right. So, for artists, I actually went with Buscema, John Buscema. And for best writer, I went with Al Milgrom. So it was a combination of you guys. Like you guys have said, many writers and artists have done this character, and it was hard to narrow it down. I had Stan Lee, I had a lot of other ones there too. I liked Ron Lim stuff as well, but I went with these 2. So
nice. You know who I would like to see you write it? I know Donnie Cates wrote him a little bit, because he, created the Cosmic Ghost Rider. But one writer I think would do really good on him is if James Tynion wrote him.
Ooh,
with some of the, like with the way that he does, like Department of Truth and Night Out from the Lake. I think that Tynion could do a really good Mephisto story.
Marvel, can you bring him over for just one mini series, please?
I'd say
a mini series or a one shot.
Somebody else would kick ass. Garth Ennis would kick ass on this character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fantastic.
That would be awesome. That would
Man.
be awesome.
Or
All
Alan
right.
Moore, if he still
Yeah.
wrote comics and didn't hate everything.
Right? Alan
Uh,
Moore. While we're
yeah.
talking about people that ate everything, bring
Yeah.
Alan Moore back. Have them two write the same book.
Who would
together.
Who would you guys pick? You know, if they got one of these writers to write it, who would you guys pick to draw it?
Oh,
I'm going to go with Alex Ross. I'll go with Alex Ross because I just love it.
as much as I dislike the man's work, if any one of those, Tinian or Milgram or Moore or any of those chose to write a Mephisto book, I'd pay to see Jay Lee do the artwork.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say it right now. I'd pay for that.
You know what? He's so stylized that I think he would be really cool on that character.
Perfect for it.
I think you've got something there. I like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
I think,
Okay.
Yeah.
and again, I'll agree. You know, kind of echo what you said. Even though, and I can't remember his name. Even though I'm not a fan of his art, like I read the book, you know, this book that he does, but I'm not really a great fan of the style of art. But I think if he did Mephisto, that it would work really well on it is Martin Simmons, the artist on Department of Truth with James Tinian, because the stuff that, like I said, and I'm not a huge fan of it, like I said, but the way that he does it, I think would fit the character really well.
Yeah.
Because he does some really creepy, disturbing looking kind of stuff on Department of Truth and on that Dracula series that they're doing.
As
Very
far as
true.
current horror writers, I would put Mankey in there too for what he did with
yeah.
Green Hell. I'm sure he could do some pretty
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, he would do
pretty
he
good
would do really good too.
denizens of Mephisto's world too.
Let's
Yep.
make this happen, DC. Let Tinian go over there and get some writing done. Marvel
Him
get-
or you know what, like Todd McFarlane or Greg Capullo would also be able to do something really cool looking.
Oh,
with
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
yeah.
I chose Alex Ross because I just love the Kingdom Come series, and I just love the way
Yeah.
he draws his detail in his characters. So that's why I would buy anything of Alex Ross if he did all the panels. I'd buy anything of that. You know, be like, shut up and take my money.
Well, Ross is on my Rushmore, so
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Me too.
The way he would do it always stands out to me for the Spectre. The way he would do that little tiny skull in the Spectre's eye.
Yes.
That's
So
amazing.
good.
That's amazing. All right, folks. I think this is where we can wrap up this episode of Comic Character of the Week. We did a deep dive on Mephisto. Thank you guys for your input. Excellent stories, excellent covers, and just an all-around good time. Thank you very much. I am Sal, the Slab Guy, and when you cannot find me here on Codex, check me out on Sal's Comic Corner on YouTube and the Slab Guy 77 on Instagram. Down below, Dan, give them a quick where they can find you really quick.
Find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Post a few times a week. Go give me a follow. Trying to, as I say, 1K for DK. Trying to get 1,000 followers by the end of the year. So go on, give me a follow and help me out with that. And then right after you do that, check out what this guy's got going on.
Yes.
Come see me at Comic Logic. We are Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. You can catch me there on Wednesdays, getting my weekly fix right here in these veins, baby. Come see us there. Also at Comic Logic, we do a Facebook Live show the first 3 Thursdays of every month with our You Grumpy Old Nerds, my best friend Mike, and our principal owner Rob. So come check us out there. And then please check us all out on Comic Character of the Day, site that we are all acquainted by from our good buddy Archduke Kevy. I'll post a cover of the day. Dan posts a question and a panel of the day. Sal's frequent contributor. Tim's always watching to make sure we are doing you justice. So please come do that. And then let's go to our last member of our esteemed panel is the man with the golden pipes, the one, the only Tim the Terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Gentlemen, thank you for indulging me in probably one of the hardest choices of the year so far. You guys did a wonderful job, and I appreciate that very much.
No, there was a couple things for it. Like as soon as I said
This was challenging.
There was
that. This was challenging, but that's good. We need to be challenged.
Yeah, and
it was hard for me to come up with the badass moments, but
it was ass
the ass moment.
The ass
Yeah.
moments.
That was the toughest part for me. But as soon as he said Mephisto, like there were a couple that instantly were like, well, I'm going to pick this story and I'm going to pick this cover. There were some that were like right there.
Well, you guys did a super awesome job, and I appreciate it very much. TJ, thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Fashionably late is never late. You arrived
right.
on time.
Yes. But thank you for joining us late. Be sure to go watch the replay.
Yeah,
it's worth it, baby. It's worth
Leave
it.
a comment on there and let us know. Let us know what your favorite reading is, or let us know what creators you would put on there. That you would put on there to do a Mephisto story.
Exactly. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to find us on all the socials. We've got it. We want to give it to you. Gary, how do we do that?
How do you do that? What, just that we have all the socials and we want to give them to you? Is that how we do it?
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It was a hard segue, but sometimes hard is what you need.
Well, when we're giving you the socials, it usually is administered better through a hard segue. So,
that's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Let us fill the gaping hole in your life.
At the Codex Station, ladies and gentlemen. TJ, you didn't miss anything, buddy. You are coming in right at the same time. We got a comment right here, right at the tail end. The current X-Men run is my favorite run. Fantastic. Glad to see you here. Con lives. Wait a minute.
Con!
Do it! Yes! Yes! Con, you dirty bloodsucker. Like a poor marksman, you keep missing the target. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, head over to the Codex Station, get some merch, meet the team, and so much more. Sal put together an awesome website for you to be visually stimulated by, and you need to see it at least once a day. thecodexstation.com for all your Codex needs. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Tim the Terrible. This guy over here next to me is the beautifully talented Sal the Slab Guy. Down below is the road manager himself for the giant, magnificent, beastly Ric Flair of comic books. That would be Dan the Kelly Art. And underneath me is the esteemed curator of the Library of Comics, Uncle Gary himself. Ladies and gentlemen, TJ's a huge Ghost Rider fan, so it would probably be in Marvel Spotlights, but that's a topic for another conversation. We will see you next time.
See you next time.
Next time, see you.
See you long time.
See you long time.
See you long time.
In holes?
Long time.
Gaping hole, but gaping holes.
There it is. All right, bye.